Combat is one of the most important skills to upgrade. It unlocks the Crimson Isles, dungeons, and very important items. But most importantly, it increases your damage. So in this video I'm gonna show you how to get from the very start from an undead sword to combat 60. You should start by talking to the weaponsmith and buying from him the undead sword. Or if you have some money, you can buy a silver fang or even an aspect of the end. And if you are Iron Man, you can also go right here to Rosetta. You can buy here the mercenary axe. I also recommend you buy a common Enderman. Right now there aren't many being sold, but they're usually like 10,000 coins. That way you can start upgrading it so that later you'll do more damage. And it is important that it will be common and not like uncommon or the very, common one, the rare. Because it takes way less XP to level it up if it's common instead of uncommon and especially rare. Doesn't matter which weapon you choose, you should enchant it with like Smite, First Strike, and Luck, because you'll need it to get some armor pieces, which you can get the XP to do so by buying from the librarian here some experience bottles, or by just killing mobs, which I'll get to now. Don't forget the rogue sword you get from Jamie. It will help you immensely with killing more mobs, because the speed increase from 100 to 200 is insane. Now you can start killing mobs and going down the deep caverns, which will give you some nice combat XP and armor pieces, hopefully. And don't forget, when you get to combat level 1, you can come here to the spider's den and you can talk here to him to unlock the bestiary, and go up here to talk to the Grandma Wolf, so you can get the Grandma Wolf pet, which will get higher and higher in rarity the more bestiary milestones you'll get. And when you have like a lot of money, you can put on her the XP share, which will increase the level. What it does is that it increases how long the combat lasts before you need to kill another mob, which is very helpful to maintaining a level 30 combo, because instead of 2 seconds it goes up to 3. After you went down all the deep caverns and got down here to the obsidian sanctuary, maybe killed some mobs, maybe did other things, you probably unlocked the dwarven mines. And here in the dwarven mines you can get a pickaxe and start killing the ice walkers here. They will give you a very good amount of XP actually, and you can also get money from the glaciate jewels they drop and the glaciate armor. So what I recommend you do is you continue killing those ice walkers until you get to combat level 12, which unlocks the end island. If you have already unlocked the dwarven mines here, you don't really have to do all the first stage I talked about with the sword and enchanting. You can come straight to here to just kill the ice walkers with any pickaxe actually. Now you can finally go to the end. But before that you should get a god potion, full glaciate, which you should reforge to fierce, aspect of the end, or I don't know, raider axe, which you should reforge to sharp, and enchant. Some great methods to get the money for this are, cobblestone generator to get the legendary rock pet, which sells for 10 million, and just any bazaar flipping is just great. And if you haven't gotten them already, you should get the easy talismans, like the race ones, the ones from the NPC, from the adventurer NPC. Those you get from tasks, and the cheap ones from the auction house. The last thing you should consider buying is a booster cookie, which will help a lot with XP. You get 25 more combat wisdom, and you will also not lose your god potion. even if you die. After all this preparation, you should be able to one-shot the higher Endermans, the Endermans here. And if not, then two-shotting them until you get like Ender armor is still like fine. It doesn't take that long until you get 1 or 2 pieces, which should be enough to one-shot them. This means you can talk here to the lone adventurer and start the end quest. You should begin by killing, as I said, the higher Enderman. The Endermans here don't go down. You can get the Ender armor and you can get the Ender necklace. After you've done that, you should come here and talk to the lone adventurer, which will offer you to buy the Void Sword, which I recommend you do because it will be very powerful after you have all the pieces of the Ender armor. It gives like 160 strength. And now you can start getting the 3 Ender equipment left. To get the gauntlet, you need to find blocks like this one. Which have particles on them. You see, I got the Ender gauntlet. And to get the other 2, you need to kill Watchers and Obsidian Defenders here in the Dragon's Nest. Your next objective after doing that is to get to combat 16, so that you will be able to use the strong dragon armor set, and combat 18, so you'll be able to use the aspect of the dragons. There are a couple of options to do that. You can just kill zealots and other mobs in the dragon's nest, or you can start doing some bestiary in the deep caverns, dwarven mines, farming islands, and spiders den, whatever you want. If you want more money, then zealot is the better one, but if you want more XP, then bestiary gives more combat XP. Now you should have a pretty good setup and you should start focusing on bestiary to get to combat 22. Which, if you have enough money for it, the frozen scythe is the absolute best weapon for bestiary early on. It is great, you can kill mobs so fast. So here are a couple of my recommendations. In the farming islands, I recommend you don't do like me and you max out all the bestiary. In the deep caverns, I also recommend to get like everything other than the creepers to level 5. The best method to get the bestiary done in the private island is to just build a giant platform on like the bottom or the top of your island, which many mobs will spawn, and then you can just kill them. If you somehow see people spawning arcane, just go around, hit it once, it's fine, maybe kill some of the broods. It will be a, decent amount of bestiary, especially if they're doing more than one. So you can maybe stay there a bit and see if they spawn another one, which you can, I think, easily get arcane to 8, 9. When you're here in the dwarven mines for, some commissions or whatever, pay attention to when the goblin raid and the powder gas are happening. The powder gas just has a bestiary, and the goblin raiders is a great one for bestiary. I got to 9 from I think 2 raids while not doing much. It's great. The only thing I can say in the Crystal Hollows is that these are the best structures for each mob, and don't forget to get some water bottles to get rid of heat while killing yogs and blazes that ball spawns. In the end, you are almost done if you did what I told you. The only thing I recommend is to mine a couple of, shiny blocks to get the endermite bestiary up. This is by far the fastest way. Don't bother on letting the watchers down there spawn them. Don't bother. This is way faster. And I do recommend that you do maybe 2 runs of solo Catacombs Flow 1, let's say, to get some very fast bestiary. It's great, for getting you just to combat 22. So these were a couple of tips I had for you. Just, do a bit of everything, and soon enough you'll get to combat 22. Congratulations! You now got to combat 22, which means you unlock the Crimson Isles for like Hypixel, Dojo, I don't know, quests, Kudra, whatever you want. So from now on, I'm gonna talk about some of the best ways to get combat XP, and that way you can get from combat 22 to combat 60 as fast as possible. But first, you need to make sure you have a good amount of combat wisdom, which increases how much combat XP you get. The best ways to do so are to get a booster cookie, a god potion, and a wolf pet. And if you are later in progression and have more money, you can also get yourself the hunter ring and the abiphone case, the one that gives combat wisdom. Slayers are always some of the best ways to get combat XP, which is true for every one of the Slayers, but especially for Tarantula and Void Gloom, which I believe give the most amount of combat XP. Another great way to get XP is dungeons, which gives a decent amount of XP and is great for general progression. But if you want to focus more on XP and bestiary, you can do floor 6 frog runs. They give more XP and you kill more mobs for bestiary. I already talked about great methods for earlier on, like killing Ice Walkers and Zealots or Endermen. So here are great methods for later on. Killing the stronger Enderman here is a great way to get combat XP, even if you don't do Enderman Slayer. That's true for all kinds of Slayer. You can always just kill the mobs, just don't do that in Svens because they suck. But especially true for the Voidlings here, they are great for combat XP, even if you don't want it specifically for Slayers. If you can kill the ghosts in the Dwarven Mines in one shot, it's a great method for combat XP and also some nice money. And if you have an Hyperion, doing Tarantula Slayers here in the Crimson Isles is just amazing. This method is just great for money, even if you don't want to do Tarantula Slayer. It just gives a bunch of combat XP, some, you can max out the bestiary, and according to like 1 month ago when I checked, it gives like 30 million an hour, even more. It's great. But again, the best way to get combat XP is to get bestiary. So I have some tips for you and some methods for you for some of the mobs, so you can maximize how much bestiary milestones you get for how much time you put into that. My first tip is kinda obvious, which is to spread the amount of milestones you get between all mobs as much as possible. This is simply because the higher the milestone, the more mobs you have to kill to get to the next one, which means that it's easier to get 2 mobs from like level 4 to level 5 than 1 mob from level 4 to level 6. If you need combat XP, one of the best ways is to do fishing, which is amazing for getting a lot of different types of mobs from the many ways of fishing. I haven't done winter because I hate it and I haven't really started on lava. Similarly, events, majors, and farming are also great for bestiary. It might look like only a couple of mobs, but it quickly adds up. Dungeons is just an overall great place for bestiary because of the sheer amount of mobs. And my tip here is to not forget that there are specific mobs which are more common in lower floors or are even exclusive to lower floors. This means that you might need to do a couple of, let's say, floor 2 Another tip is when you're waiting for the last puzzle or trap room, you can kill mobs that are left, because you don't really have to kill all of them for clear. When you're trying to get golden and diamond goblins, I recommend you to unlock the Sky Mall perk. And when you see that the day, like the buff of the day, is 10x chance to find golden and diamond goblins, go straight to the crystal hollows, mine some, I don't know, hearthstone, whatever you like. Hope this helps. Get to combat 60. Come on, I believe in you.